What's up, guys? Welcome to the Slasher Dungeon. Today we're going to talk about the Backrooms a little bit. I just want to say first off, I love this movie. You know, um, I was expecting something a little different, if I'm being honest with you. I thought that I thought it was going to be just another found footage movie, you know. I thought it was going to be run of the mill, that kind of thing, the same thing we've seen a million times. I was pleasantly surprised by this movie. And, I've got to give props, that they subverted, my expectations at least. Um, yeah, because there was a way they could have made this movie where it would have been easy, simple. But the fact that they kind of subverted that and took it in a different direction. I like that. I've seen a lot of opinions online. Some people, it seems like some people were expecting that and they wanted that. They wanted it to be more of an exploration film, like exploring the back rooms, that kind of thing. And it seemed like they were going to go in that direction. When Clark has, the employees come, and they bring the camcorder and they kind of go into explore. It kind of looked like the second half of the movie was going to be that. I like that they flipped the script on that and they didn't do that. A lot of people seem to think, that they wanted it to be a film like something like As Above, So Below, or like Grave Encounters, where found footage, that kind of thing, that would have been cool. Maybe they could have had more of that. I think they had enough in it. Like the beginning, the intro scene and things like that were, good found footage, horror kind of stuff. Um, but I'm glad they didn't do that. I'm glad they included this plot, that, the character study of Clark as, this broken man, this alcoholic who's been kicked out of his home. His issues and how that manifests into the back rooms. I thought that was really good. I really liked that they went that route. That they gave it more depth. Um, Now I'm not familiar with the director's YouTube work. I haven't seen that, but I have been a big fan. Of like Creepypasta, 4chan, X green text kind of thing for years now. So I'm glad to see that uh, getting more recognition in media, And since this movie's done so good, I kind of expect to see, more creepypasta kind of movies, that kind of thing. Like, it always happens. So also I was looking at, some articles here. There's a good Forbes article written by Paul Tassi about some of the box office records Backrooms has broken. Um, it's a good time for independent media right now. With the Backrooms and Obsession both doing great in the box office. Outselling something like Mandalorian. Like big Hollywood bloated budget. $400 million kind of thing. This is great. Like this is great for independent media. uh, I think everyone has fatigue when it comes to like over bloated Hollywood CGI bullshit slop. Like I mean, everyone's tired of it, and kind of seeing amateur creatives uh, outselling legacy media. That's great. You know, um, the only thing, like I said, like I expect to see more YouTubers turn directors kind of thing, more creepy pasta films kind of things, so long as it doesn't become like a trend where they fuck it up, like that could easily happen. I mean, we could see a deluge of just dog shit from this, or it could be good, and they could get the broader message, which is that pushing the envelope, taking risks, can actually pay off, and that you don't need, $400 million and a ton of people, to make a film. So looking at this, you know, it's earned 118 million globally. I think the budget was, let me see, it's on a $10 million budget. That's awesome. Like A24's biggest opening weekend ever. You know, biggest R-rated opening weekend of 2026. So, you know, that's great. I mean, I personally love the movie. Like I said, they could have taken it in a direction that would have been, not to my taste, but like I was pleasantly surprised. So hopefully we keep seeing more of this, more independent media overtaking legacy media. Um, the only thing, my only gripe about this is, like I said, I've been a fan of Creepypasta, green text, and stuff like that for years. Uh, there's actually a game called the Backrooms 1998. If you haven't checked that out, you should check it out. Uh, I think that they actually did the Backrooms a little better. That game was really terrifying, really fucking unnerving. I liked it a lot. My girlfriend tried to play it, and it was too scary for her. I mean, it's one of those that, like, Outlast or Alien Isolation. Like, it really is unnerving and creepy. Um, and that's my only thing is I think some other media has done the Backrooms better. That game included. But that, I think the film was about as good as a movie could have been. I think they really did a good job with that. I love the cinematography. I'm a big nerd for that. Um, yeah, it was great. So I was just looking at some of this. Let's see. And of course, they're already talking about a sequel to the Backrooms. You know, which I'm down for, but hopefully, we don't get a bunch of really sloppily, done creepypasta films just off of this one. But that's kind of the trend. Um, you see, video game movies are all getting greenlit after the success of Super Mario. So I expect to see that, but hopefully Hollywood takes the right lesson from this. That independent, indie films, low budget, risk taking films, can pay off. And that, we get more focus on creatives who are actually, risk takers, who are actually trying to do something new, original. Um, but yeah, just wanted to talk about that a little bit. Like I said, there's a great article in Forbes. The rap, like, I mean, a lot of articles right now, everyone in legacy media kind of sees the writing on the wall that, they got shown up by these two indie horror movies. And yeah, it's a great time, for indie horror. Uh, so, you know, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Go ahead and shout out in the comments. Did you see the movie? Did you like it? Do you think they could have done better with it? I think it was pretty great. I fucking loved it. Like I loved the character study. I loved, you know, the dynamic between Clark and his therapist. If you watch the movie, you'll see how that goes. Um, it was really good. I mean, typical A24 fashion. It's really nihilistic. It's really bleak. Yeah, it's perfect. I really like it. I have no complaints. But let me know what you think. Do you think that this is a flash in the pan? Do you think that, legacy media is fucked, basically? I do. I mean, I think we're going to see a lot more of, indie stuff, a lot more, like, content creators coming up, in Hollywood and stuff. Like, I'm hoping this is a change of the guard. So we'll see how it goes, but I just wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit. Everybody's talking about it. I love the movie. I'm probably gonna clip it for the channel. Also, talking about creepypasta. I personally have a story on the website from years ago. A couple of YouTubers have narrated it. I'll throw that in the description. Kind of plug my own thing. Nothing super special. Nothing comparable to the Backrooms, but yeah, if you're interested in checking that out, I'll plug that in. But yeah, I want to know what you guys think. Did you like it? Could it have been done better? Is there other media that have covered the Backrooms that you like better? Yeah, let me know. Thanks.